everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time today. We have a little bit of misty morning and focus combination. Why? Because you know I love bergamot and I like that zing. That zing, really nice in the morning. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Today is going to be a Sony day, all right? So I want to talk to you a little bit about this whole idea of sub $1,000 full frame mirrorless cameras, the new norm, so to speak. So Sony is about ready to announce that A5, A6, let's call it. And we got a little bit more, let's say, news about it, more rumors. Some of the stuff might be good, some of the stuff maybe not, some of the stuff might be factual. We don't know what the percentage of this is, so we're basically having a conversation here about what we've heard as of now. And I want to pose a couple of questions to you about this new norm and pricing and whatnot. So before we get into it really down and deep, I want to say that if you want to pick up these teas, all right, you guys asked me for them, so I put them together. You can go over to darkmoonteas.com, check them out, or you can go over to my website, JCristina.com. And what I did is, if you're a subscriber, use promo code YT20 at checkout, and anything that you pick up from that store, you'll get 20% off right off the top. Everything that's in your cart. All right, so go and check them out. Grab some. They're really good. So, guys, let's get into some of the specs on this A5, A6, whatever they're going to call it. All right, let's get right into it. So to start out, of course, that A5 or A6 will be full frame. Now, the body itself is said to be similar to their A5000, A6000 line. Let's call it the A5XXX or A6XXX line. All right, so it'll be similar to an APS-C body. Now, it is said to have a similar build also, where it is some metal, some plastic, some composite, whatever. It's not going to be a, let's say, high-end manufactured body, but more on the cheap side. And that's what we're doing here. Remember, sub $1,000 full frame mirrorless cameras. Now, as far as the grip, they're saying that it's going to be larger than normal. So the question is that to accommodate a bigger battery, or something else might be changing in the camera where they need to move things around? And I think it's going to be the latter, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Now, it is said to be able to shoot 5 frames per second, which is fine. That's okay for a cheaper camera. I would like to see closer to 10 in 2020, right? But 5, it's okay. Obviously, you don't want to step on the heels of any of your other camera lines, right? Now, it will have in-body image stabilization, IBIS. A lot of you people absolutely love it. I personally don't. I would rather have in-lens image stabilization where I can turn it on and off at will. And also, there's some things that I just like better with the lens. Image stabilization, IS or VR or whatever it's going to be. But this does have IBIS, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to be thrilled about it. Now, what changes here, which I think is just fascinating, is it will not have a pop-up flash. And people are like, yeah, okay, that's all right. You just throw one at the top and everything's fine. But what it will replace that pop-up flash area with is a pop-up EVF. What? A pop-up EVF? So, yeah. A pop-up EVF. Now, it's said to have 2.3 million dots resolution. So is that okay? Yeah, it's all right. It's nothing special, but still, this is definitely different. Okay. And I saw this mock-up of what it would look like, and it looks interesting, right? Where it looks completely flat at the top. Obviously makes sense because you don't have anything at the top, and you have this little pop-up just EVF that you're going to use. That's kind of cool, right? Kind of cool. Now, as far as the back screen goes, the back screen is said to be the exact same screen that is being used on the Sony A7S III. Now, if that is the case, that would be spectacular. Why? Because that back screen is a beautiful touch panel, but also it's fully articulated. So you can move it all the way around. facing your subject. Okay, so that's fantastic because now you can see what you're shooting. If you're doing like a selfie or if you're shooting a vlog, you can see yourself and you don't need an external monitor to do so. So that would be really great. And if that is the case, that will probably add credence to this being a really, really good vlogger's camera. So we'll see how it all plays out. Now, as far as video, the video looks pretty okay, I guess. Something is kind of odd, but it will shoot 4K 24p 10-bit as well as 4K 30p 10-bit. But where things change is with 4K 50 or 60p. Now, what changes is, well, it doesn't have audio. And it's a really tight crop. Now, why is that? Well, it said that it's only shooting in S&Q mode. Now, S&Q mode basically is slow and quick motion is what it stands for. It allows you to capture like 1 frame per second all the way up to your 50 or 60 frames per second and anything in between. All right, it's more something akin to doing like time-lapse photography. It's good for slow motion. It's really good, but you sacrifice audio. Now, if I have that wrong, which a lot of times I do, but if I do, in the comment area below this video, tell me where I got this wrong. So those are the specs, but now let's get into that price, that sub $1,000 price and the new norm of where full frame seems to be going. A lot of the camera manufacturers are going under that $1,000 price target for full frame mirrorless to get people into the ecosystem, right? Now, if we look at just some prices, I just wrote down some prices just to review with you. And then I want your thoughts on this. Now, if we look at Canon, what they did is they came out with the Canon RP. Now, the RP was just cool because it was sub $1,000 and it's full frame mirrorless. It's now like $900, okay? Whereas now, Nikon came out or is coming out with their Z5. And this is one of the things that I've found to be problematic with Nikon and their Z5 is because it's $1,400. Now, are they going to come out with a lower cost version that will be sub $1,000? I sure as hell hope so. Okay? Because they really need to. I personally think that this Z5 should have been that let's say under $1,000, but we will see what ends up happening. Maybe they'll come out with something, like I said, lower end. And I really do think that that is important. Now, those are full frames, but now if we look at APS-C, we see, for example, a Nikon Z50 in at $900. Now, that's APS-C. You also have a Fujifilm, the X-T30, sitting at $900, APS-C. And then you have some more expensive APS-Cs like the Fujifilm X-T4, which is awesome, but it's $1,700. And you also have the Sony A6600 coming in at $1,400. Once again, APS-C. And then finally, I always like to, let's say, talk about the Micro Four Thirds and how I do think that they're going away, but look at the price. You have a Panasonic GH5S coming in at like $1,800. And it's Micro Four Thirds, not APS-C and not full frame. And then also you have the Olympus, right? The EM5 Mark III coming in at $1,000 for, once again, a Micro Four Thirds. So once again, like I said, coming full circle, look at the price. $1,000 is that target price for full frame. And even below, we're seeing them at $900 for full frame mirrorless. What is going to happen with these other cameras? What is going to happen with APS-C cameras? What will happen with Micro Four Thirds? Will there have to be a price reduction or possibly or a consolidation? All right, chopping some of these APS-Cs away and maybe losing Micro Four Thirds altogether, if not lowering the price to something that makes sense. I find it very difficult to believe that people are, now these are, let's call them newcomers, come into the photography world and see a full frame camera at $900 and then say, no, I'm going to buy a Micro Four Thirds for $1,800 or for whatever. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I don't think it's going to happen. Okay. I just simply don't think it's going to happen. Now, what I do think will happen is we're going to see a lot more of these sub $1,000 full frame mirrorless cameras, the new norm, as I call it. I think that when that happens, we're going to have to lower prices on APS-C, and we're going to have to do that consolidation. It makes sense because one factor, and the factor, in my personal opinion, is lenses and getting people into your ecosystem. How do you do that? How do you lock people into your ecosystem? Okay, how do you do it? Lenses. You get them to buy 1 or 2 extremely expensive lenses, and they're in with you permanently. It's very difficult to say, you know what, I'm going to leave Canon for Nikon after I have $6,000 of Canon lenses. It's hard to go Nikon to Canon or Nikon to Sony. The same exact reason applies. You want to get them into your ecosystem through lenses. So if you can get them into a sub $1,000 full frame mirrorless camera, let's say on the Canon line, and get them into that R lenses, the RF lenses, well, now you get them in there so that you can upgrade them to more expensive R cameras. The same thing holds true with Nikon or Sony. Get them into your brand, get them into your ecosphere, your ecosystem, and now you can sell them more expensive stuff, but you have to get them in. And I feel that the sub $1,000 mirrorless full frame cameras are basically almost loss leaders, right? That little carrot at the end of the stick, a means to bring people into your line. Okay, that's what it feels like to me. So, do I think that there's going to be a lot more full frame sub $1,000 mirrorless cameras? Yeah, I really do. And I do believe that is going to be the new norm. I think we're going to see a lot of newcomers into the photographic community purchasing full frame mirrorless cameras over APS-C and Micro Four Thirds solely for the value. Or I should say the perceived value, because someone new will look at it and say, well, I can get a big sensor for cheaper than a small sensor. Why do I need a smaller sensor? Where there's obviously uses for Micro Four Thirds and there's uses for APS-C. Like, for example, if you want to do photography or long range stuff with telephoto, you would like that crop factor without bigger lenses and yada, yada, yada. All right. So there's reasons for everything. There's a tool for every job, right? But there's not one tool that works for every single job, all right? You buy the right tool for that specific job. And if it's full frame, it's full frame. If it's Micro Four Thirds, well, then so be it, or APS-C. But I really do believe that the newcomers that come into the photographic community are going to look at this as an opportunity to buy full frame. Now, like I said, what will this do for prices? And what will it do for consolidation? Now that we see a lot of full frame mirrorless cameras under that $1,000 mark, right? That was that line in the sand that I predicted like 3 months ago. And as that happened, okay, I really do think that we're going to see a little bit of a shrinkage when it comes to APS-C and definitely Micro Four Thirds. Shrinkage being that we're talking price and possibly shrinkage in the number of possibilities. I think there's going to be a consolidation, all right? But I want to know what you think about this. I really do, because I find it interesting. I find it fascinating. And now that we see that Sony's let's call it 5 or maybe even A6, whatever you want to call it, full frame version of their 5,000, 6,000 line, let's call it, with now a pop-up EVF, all right, instead of a pop-up flash. Once again, sub 1,000, this kind of adds more meat to the bones of this theory. But I want to know what you think. All right, what do you think is going to be happening here throughout the rest of 2020? Are we going to see that consolidation? Are we also going to start seeing some price drops on some of the non-full frames, the APS-C and the Micro Four Thirds? Now, before I go, I want to ask that if you haven't picked up my ebook, go pick it up over at JCristina.com/ebook. It's free, 10 tips at making tack-sharp images. There's something in there for amateurs as well as professionals. Pick it up. Be a subscriber, get it for free. You can't beat that. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. Also, When we're talking about mirrorless cameras, we know mirrorless cameras for the most part get a little bit more dirty on the inside than the DSLRs did. Now, that being said, we need to clean those sensors, and that's why I developed the Aurora Camera Care lineup. This right here is a sensor cleaning kit for full frame, but we also have them for APS-C as well as Micro Four Thirds. So you grab one of these, you end up with 5 cleanings, guys. 5 cleanings, extremely cheap. They come with these. They look like this, all right? One is wet, one is dry, and you have 5 sets of these. And inside that, you have a wet and you have a dry, okay? You go over your sensor with the wet, and then you go over it with the dry, and that's it. Your sensor is perfectly clean. Unlike all of the rest of these cleaning kits that you see out there, that gives you a whole bunch of these things, and the problem is you get like a little dropper, and you're putting on drops, and did I put enough drops across the entire thing? Did I put too many drops? Is it too wet? What's safe? What's not? You don't want to mess it up. So what I did is I made them like this, right? So the exact amount is sealed in here, vacuum sealed, perfectly sterile, vacuum sealed right from our manufacturing. So you use this, it's perfect every single time. So if you want to pick up one of the Aurora Camera Care cleaning products, go over to JCristina.com, use that promo code YT20 at checkout. You're going to get 20% off. Once again, in each one of these bundles, you're going to get 5 cleanings. So you literally can clean your sensor for like maybe $5 or so, right? It's ridiculous. Whereas normally you send it away, it's like $100 or more, okay? And it is safe, easy, and it's basically a no-brainer because it's always the exact amount of cleaner every single time. So anyways, guys, that's my shameless promotion of my products. As I always tell you, I only sell my products in this channel. That is it. You don't see me pimping other people's stuff and with a ton of affiliate stuff. Every once in a while, I'll give you one of my Amazon links or B&H links or whatnot, because my products like this are available on Amazon, not just my site, on Amazon, but they're also available on B&H. So if you like shopping over at B&H Photo and Video, love those guys over there, you can buy them there. If you want to shop on Amazon, also you can do it that way. So just to give you my full disclosure here, once again, that's why this channel is 100% unbiased and will remain that way in perpetuity. So anyways, guys, in the comment area below this video, let me know what you think about this possible Sony A5 and A6 and how it could possibly mean the lowering of price for APS-C as well as Micro Four Thirds and possible consolidation. What are your thoughts? So that's it, guys. I'm out of here for another vlog. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can get all of my content when it becomes available, and click the bell icon right over here so when it is available you will be notified of it. And finally, head over to my website JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, like I always say, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.